Lori here. I'm here today to do part two of my ALA haul for you guys. This is featuring all the fantasy books that I wound up picking up. I'll be honest, I don't know much about these books. I knew about them when they were talking to me, like at the convention, but it's such a haze. So if there are blurbs, I am going to read about them. If I know anything about it in specific, I'll tell you, but most of them, I don't. But this one, the tagline got me. It's called The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. It is from Inkyard Press. It's coming out actually relatively soon. It's coming out in February 25th. And I just want to read you, Can Their Love of Books and Pop Music Save the World? I got a button from this book as well, but it says, Can the girl with the forbidden library and the alien who loves pop music work together to save the world? I think this is like a science fiction book. And I don't know. It just sounds cool. I love this cover. This cover is so pretty. It sounds like it's like a science fiction book with a dystopian twist. I really, really love this cover, and I hope I get to read it soon. Also, this one might be a good one to read during February because it has to do with romance, which I'm really excited for. That was from Inkyard, which is Harlequin. Another book I wanted picking up was The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. This one comes out in June. This is A Race for the Crown, A Girl Destined to Die, A Weapon More Powerful Than Any Blade. I don't know much about this book, to be very honest. Yeah, I don't know about much about this book, but I feel like it has to do with poison, but we will find out. It does come out in June, and it is from Razorbill. A next book that I wanted picking up was Bone Crier Moon, from Kathleen Purdue, who's the author of the Burning Glass trilogy. And this book is a high-stakes fantasy duology from the New York Times bestselling author of Burning Glass about a girl who must sacrifice the boy she loves to protect the living from the dead. This book comes out in March, but this cover is so pretty. This reminds me of how I would think the characters from the Throne of Glass series would look. But I got this from Harper Catherine, the Catherine Teigen imprint, and I'm really excited to dive into this one. Another book that I wound up getting was Deep Light, which is from the author of what was the one with the face? I feel like it was like a face like mask. And this is this has to do with gods, I think. Celebrated the author of the Coastal Book of the Year. A new fantasy full of beauty and terror. Let's see if it says anything. Yeah, this one has to do with like mythology, and it comes out in April 2020 from Amula Books. Another book that I was super excited for is The Winter Duke by Claire's Elisa Bartlett, and she's also the author that wrote We Rule the Night, and this is an enchanted tale of a magical curse that only one girl and only one person who survived it. This cover is so pretty, and this book comes out in March. We have a lot of March reads. This was another one that I wanted picking up, and it says Set Fire to the Guard by Sarah Rash and Kristen Simmons. Avatar The Last Airbender meets Gladiator when two warriors must decide whether their loyalties lie in an ancient war between immortals as an ancient war between immortals threatens their world. And this is another dual authorship, which I've actually been really liking recently. And this book comes out in August. So this is quite a bit in the future, but I really hope that I like it. And it says, it's a first in the epic duology inspired by myths about Greco-Roman gods and their interaction with mortals. Features an action-packed plot full of dynamic elements, battles, enemies to lover romance, and plenty of intrigue for fans of An Ember in the Ashes, Anti-Yarkin, and The Winter's Curse. So, that's really exciting. Another book that I wanted picking up from, I think this is from HMH. Yeah, this is Circus Rose, which is a Snow White and Rose Red retelling, and it's a queer retelling, which I'm really excited about. And this book comes out in June. Another one from HMH is Ink in the Blood, which is a lush, dark YA fantasy debut that weaves together tattoo magic, fate, eccentric theater in a world where lies are currency and ink is a weapon. I love books that have anything to do with theater because I'm a theater teacher. This cover is so pretty, and it comes out in February, so it actually comes out relatively soon. Another book that I wanted picking up from Disney was Witches of Ash and Rune by E. Lemire, and this is a modern witchcraft blends with ancient Celtic mythology in a memorizing novel that's perfect for fans of shaded magic and the chilling adventures of Sabrina. And this comes out in March. This, again, is really, really cool. I like this cover a lot. And the last book in this pile that I'm going to chat about is Before the Sword, which comes out this month by Grace Lim. And this, I have a feeling, probably has to tie in with the Mulan movie coming out. But it is a Mulan themed book. And I do love Mulan. Mulan is actually one of my favorite Disney princesses. So I'm going to go get my other books and I'll be back in a little bit. Bye, guys. Next book I'm going to chat about is The June Boys by Court Stevens. This book comes out in March 10th. It's Gemini Thief can be anyone, your father, your mother, your best friend's crazy uncle, some country music star, deranged sister, anyone. Someone is stealing Tennessee boys, report suspicious behavior. And this is from Thomas Nielsen. And this book does come out in March, and it seems like it's like a thriller, but that just seems really interesting. So, another book that I wound up getting from Epic Reads or Harper Teen was Seasons of the Storm. Immortality comes at a steep price in this fantasy perfect for fans of Maggie Stiefvater and Laini Taylor. And it comes out in June. This cover is really pretty. It's from Ellie Cosmino, who wrote the Nearly Gone mystery series. And this is, I think, her first foray into fantasy. Don't know much about it, but this cover is super pretty. Another one is Agnes at the End of the World by Kelly McWilliams, which is from Little Brown. It comes out in June. And this is The Village Meets After the Fire, this genre-defining novel about a girl escaping a cult as the world ends around her. That sounds really, really cool. I don't know if this is like a modern day telling or like a historical fiction novel, but it does sound really interesting. And the last book in this smaller pile is Ghostwood Song by Erica Waters. This comes out in July, and it's Sawkill Girls meets beautiful creatures in this lush and eerie debut where the boundary between reality and nightmares is as thin as the veil between the living and the dead. It's about a girl named Shady who has inherited her father's ability to call ghosts from the graves. But when her brother is accused of murder, though, she can't let the dead keep their secrets. In order to clear his name, she's going to have to make those ghosts sing. That sounds really cool. I normally love books like that have like a mystery element that maybe gears supernatural. So I'm really excited for this one. Now I'm going to go get my other big pile of books. So see you guys in a bit. Books in this pile are adults, but most of them are YA. The first one is The Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth, which is saving the world once made them heroes. Saving it again might destroy them. 15 years ago, 5 ordinary teenagers were singled out by prophets to take down an impossible entity. He was known as the Dark One, and his weapon of choice, a catastrophic event known as Drains, leveled cities and claimed thousands of lives. Chosen Ones, as the teens were known, gave everything they had to defeat them. But now I think the characters have to deal with a similar threat many, many years later, and they're a little bit older. This one sounds really cool. I didn't know what this premise was about at all. I don't even know when this book comes out. This book comes out in April. I really did like the Divergent series. I never wound up reading Carve the Mark, but I will give this book a chance, and it is adult. Diamond City is a one that came from Wednesday Books, which I was really excited about. This is Meet Anna Solis, whose wit is sharp as her blade. 18-year-old Alina is a professional assassin with a bounty on her head in an industrial wasteland full of half-constructed subway tunnels, blood magic, secret markets, and wolf-sized spiders. Only one girl holds the power to change her city forever. And this book is actually coming out in January, so I should probably get a move on my reading. But this was the one that I did hear about at New York City Comic Con, but I didn't wind up getting a copy of it. Another book that I wound up getting was Forged in Fire and Stars by Andrew Robertson, who is the same author of the Nightshade series. I honestly have no idea what this book's about. I know it comes out in May, but I don't know nothing about it other than this cover is super pretty. But I know it's a fantasy book. I think it has to do with magic, and it has to do with an unexpected development in a young girl's life, like all YA fantasies are. Another book I wound up picking up from Blink was Warriors of Eternity by Courtney Moulton. And this book comes out in January. I think this has to do with a young girl, and she is having to confront her future that may be not what she was expecting. Again, don't know much about it, but I do know it comes out in January. Another book I wound up picking up from HMH was The Stars That We Seal by Alexa Dons, who wrote, she wrote something. She wrote, I think, Brightly Burning, and this is her newest book. I think it's a science fiction book, but I could be wrong. But don't quote me on that. But I know that it is a fantasy book. This cover is pretty too, and it comes out in February. This one is another one from Disney. It's called The Glare. Once you start playing, it's already too late. And this is about a world where I think technology is kind of not the best thing, and I think it kind of makes the world a little bit crazy. And this comes out in July. Don't quote me by my summaries for this pile because I don't know much about them, but the covers or the titles really intrigued me. Sisters of the Sword and Song is by Rebecca Ross. She wrote the Queen's Resistance series. This is two sisters, one unspeakable bond. This is coming out in June, I think. A new standalone fantasy from the Queen's author Rebecca Rising. And I really love books about sisters and fantasy worlds, so I'm excited for that. And this cover is stunning, by the way. Another book I picked up from Penguin was The Jewel Thief, Stolen Diamond, a dramatic commission, and a once-in-a-lifetime love. And this book does come out in May 2020. I don't know much about it. I think it's set in Paris. I'm totally here. But this cover's pretty as well. Another book I wanted picking up was Hood by Jenny Elder Moak. One Girl, One Shot, A Legend in the Making. And I think that this is a Robin Hood retelling with a girl in the lead. I still need to read Sherwood by Megan Shepherd, but for the moment, I'm excited to dive into this one. And this comes out in June. I have a lot of June reads, which is going to be very, very busy in May, but we'll see. Another book I picked up from Disney was Elysium Girls by Kat Pentecost, which comes out in April. This is from a lush, dazzling, originally new voice in YA fantasy. Comes with an epic clash of witches, gods, demons as the fate of humanity hangs in the balance. And yeah, that sounds really interesting. This cover is pretty awesome too. Another book that I got from Harper was The Songs of Rats and Runes. And this is when his sister is kidnapped by a vengeful spirit and her mother is killed by a mysterious assassin. They have 1 week to bring them back to the land of the living by murdering the very person they're falling for. That sounds interesting. And this also comes out in June. Very, very pretty cover. I also wind up meeting Sarah Beth Durst, and this is The Race for the Sands, which is a new adult fantasy series. Introduces an imaginative new world which a pair of strong and determined women risk their lives battling justice, corruption, and deadly enemies in their quest to become monster racing champions. And this book comes out in April. I also picked up a copy of The Glass Magician by Carolyn Sturmeyer, which is set in New York, 1905, the Vanderbilts, the Ossers, and the Morgans. And I think that this is a magic-based book set in 1905. And this might actually be an adult book, but the cover was pretty. Another book I'm going to chat about is The Stone of Sorrow by Brooke Carter. This book comes out in April, and it's all my people have now is me. I take a last breath of the fresh sea air and set out on a path. North fear follows me with every step, and my constant companion. I wish we didn't know each other as well. But this is a fantasy book, I think. Comes out in April, and it's from Orca Books, I think. But I don't know much about it, so. And the last pure fantasy book or science fiction book I got was The Loop by Ben Oliver. This comes out April 7th, and this is a science fiction book where just not hilarity, but a lot of drama happens. Luca Kane spends 73 wrongfully imprisoned inside the loop waiting his execution. Each day is the same, every day is torturous, but things are starting to change. Whispers of war are circulating. The government issued random rain stops falling. Strange things are happening to the prisoners, and the warden delivers a message. Luca, you have to get out. That is intriguing for sure. So these are all the direct fantasy books that I wound up getting from ALA right now. I will probably be doing a roundup haul at the end when my boxes show up from my friend's house, but these are all the fantasy books that I'm really excited for, and I really hope that I enjoy most of them. You will be taking this journey with me this year, so you'll be seeing my reviews. Definitely going to do some giveaways once I'm done with these books because I need to give them away at some point, but keep an eye on my channels, keep an eye on my Instagram, and keep an eye on my reading vlogs where I'll be talking through all these books with you. And let me know in the comments what books you're most excited to get your hands on yourself or what books you're most excited to see me review. And I'll talk to you guys later for another video. Bye, guys.